Okay. Let me turn it up.
This is our first year of bringing you the very best of what video games have to offer.
Lots of changes at Devolver since the last time we were here.
Old, outdated, irrelevant.
She's straight busted.
I've got something better.
Today is only the beginning. The future of video games and the future's future!
You're gonna be one bad motherfucker.
I don't give a flipping freak about stupid live video game events.
Hello?
I need you to help me stop the future's future. Puppet on a million strings. Mine.
Sure about that?
This is the future,
Oh my god, you're right. There's literally more violence on camera than in Far Cry 6.
The future.
So then, we kind of wrap it up after that. I'm thinking it's like a 4-5 year deal. Huh? Right?
I think
It's shit garbage. Fucking shit garbage.
It's
a dumb idea that'll never work. And you're an asshole for thinking it up. Who thinks this shit
It
up?
was me. I thought
An
this shit.
asshole thinks this shit up. We're not doing a 4-year-long series of narrative videos about the futures, whatever the shit.
Devolver Digital.
Why not?
Your fucking face.
That was supposed to be me, right? My face. Is that even legal?
All Devolver Digital new hires release wholly any work likeness attribution and/or image rights upon execution of an employment contract, clear as day. Basically, we can do whatever we want with your likeness, even if it is some stupid deepfake video abomination or whatever.
Enough! Enough of this. You, less talking, more typing. I don't like it. The internet would never buy it. We produce
Video
games at Devolver Digital, and damn good ones, I'm told. Now, get the hell out of my conference room and take your dumb movie idea with you.
Yeah, but listen, it's not just a dumb movie idea. It's a multi-layered narrative universe. You don't understand. This is art. This is painting with light. This is cinema!
well,
Listen, Slimes, it is a goddamn white-hot arms race out there. A hype-eats-hype, media-fueled intimidation game of boss mode, knuckle-fuck nut-kick. And we are falling way the mother-effing Emmer shit behind. Melissa, do the numbers.
Yeah, so in the
It's bad, people. Real type bad. We need a fresh perspective. Something wild. Something stunning. Something new but not too new, but new enough so that it seems new to those know-it-all know-nothings in the know, you know?
Actually, ma'am, I think...
No.
Record scratch. What? Who are you and why are you making noises at me?
Nina, ma'am, Nina Struthers. I'm an adjunct under-executive on the marketing team. I'm gunning for synergy officer one day.
Why are you pouring the coffee?
Because we need coffee.
Grab it, Hackjaw. Nina, is it? Put the coffee down and talk at my face.
Well, the thing of it is, a few of us were talking and...
monetization as a service.
Zane!
What he said.
That's gotta be the most ridiculous...
Let's fucking do it.
I'm sorry. This is great. This is perfect. I told you, they need to not one-up themselves.
4 decades and counting. Devolver Digital has been at the absolute bleeding edge of technical, social, and humanitarian progress in the burgeoning videotainment market. Now that's no accident. The global research and development teams at Devolver Digital Incorporated have worked tirelessly to deliver to you, the unwashed consumers, so many breakthroughs in the video game entertainosphere that it's arguable as to whether the countless problems we've successfully solved were ever actually problems in the first place.
Devolver Earliest Access delivered games to the marketplace at the exact point of conception. A developer even thinks of an idea and that shit's already for sale.
Boom!
Devolver Digital Screen Pay allowed loudmouth consumers to not only throw money at their screens, but to throw money at our federally unregistered offshore corporate bank accounts. Cha-ching! Devolver even jumped ass first into that crypto lifestyle broth before electric car barons made it all the rage with Loot Box Coin, the market's first and justifiably last physical cryptocurrency that lived entirely off of the blockchain.
Blam!
Last year, we spent money we didn't even have to fill the void trapped huge when your mad, thirsty consumer soul when E3 was canceled. Devolver Land Expo straight up revolutionized the very concept of marketing as the industry's very first quadruple A playable video game trade show that you could download and play as a video game and video game play as a video game. Progress can't be stopped though, no. So this year, Devolver Digital is taking aim at the blisteringly lucrative subscription service video game market. Welcome to Devolver Max Pass Plus.
Subscriptions. Oh my god, that must have taken so long to put together.
Welcome to the future. Games as a service. A razor-edged industry shuck jive that has served to convert what was, traditionally, a one-time purchase into a potentially lifelong chain ball commitment to reoccurring payments for video games that, well, let's be real deal about this, most of you don't even enjoy anymore. Devolver likes to take things further. Dive the big dive, you know? Take the leap, push the envelope, toad the wet sprocket, go big or go home, and baby, we ain't got no home to go home to. Devolver likes to take things to a place that isn't even funny. So much is creepily possible and uncomfortably prescient. That is why monetization as a service. Give me some more. We see it as a groundbreaking new way to keep consumers locked into a semi-regular non-payment schedule with a novel, if not needlessly complex approach, wherein a top-tier service subscriber, that is you, look at you, is granted access to dozens, if not hundreds of dozens, of premium purchases at the low, low monthly price of no cost to you for the subscription itself. Hit me again! Whew. That is the Max Pass Plus difference. You simply apply, and your credit competency, work history, genealogical strafe vector, total lunar payload weight, environmentally induced super selection state, and very first magic deck are evaluated on a 29-point density matrix, and boosh, you're absolutely Rose Street. From there, you are granted direct access to purchase anything in our constantly growing collection of video games and video game related junk for free. Well, not the purchases. They're not free. That would be insane. But access to those purchases, though, totally freezies.
Yes, I got the joke. Thank you.
Well, let's check a look. At some of the video games that amazing consumers like you can look forward to, if you get approved, of course, with Devolver Max Pass Plus.
Remind me to talk about writing when this is done.
Premium purchase.
Actual gameplay, nothing pre-rendered, is what the subtitle there said.
単なる幻に過ぎぬ。その喪失を嘆くなかれ。己の行いを悔やまずともよい。武士道というは死ぬことと見つけたり。その道を守るべし。己の命が尽き果てたその先まで。
As I say, this is what they usually do. They do an insanity thing, and then they actually show a game.
Premium purchase.
Exclusive. This is how you do a puzzle platformer, by the way. In first person, obviously. But if you've ever heard me use that phrase, this is what I mean. Granted, first person. I tend to prefer third person. I might actually wishlist this one. This looks pretty legit. Oh god. I mean, why wouldn't it, Rex? Phantom Abyss. Early access. But I'm gonna jot that one down.
Fashionable. Now that's a phrase. A phrase that goes lock, stock, hand in hand with gamers. An exclusive state of being, if you will, to which only the most adroitly premium amongst us could ever truly endeavor to gain entry. Until now. No. That's this, not this.
I have the chewy dad.
I'm snapping, damn it! Being fashionable is a natural extension of the Devolver Max Pass Plus premium purchase experience. Brought from us to you by Devolver's own central textile manufacturing and weaponized branding entity subgroups. We would like to present to you our newest collection of exclusive garmentry only available to the Devolver Max Pass Plus survivors. I mean, subscribers.
Oh, hi.
Shut up. This collection of fashionable, comfortable, and catastrophically unaffordable formal wear was designed and manufactured entirely in-house by an elite selection of our most popular and attractive interns, to whom we've given key action words and access to an internet-connected device and, shall we say, joie de vivre. You may go.
Bye.
As with everything else in this presentation, the Devolver Max Pass Plus exclusive merch collection is, well, exclusive. Only available to subscribers in a premium purchase, not at all in the subscription fee you may or may not, but may be paying. Fashionable. Am I right? Now, let's take a deep breath and take a peek at these two premium purchase products that'll be available to you soon. The adoring Devolver Max Pass Plus Survivor. Subscriber.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Premium purchase.
Now, the next suit I buy is going to be a bespoke suit.
Shattered sky and boiling sea. Is a ruined world our gift to thee? Got 1,000 miles of heavy trials just waiting in the wind for me.
So, gun mage?
Raging fire. I'll see it through this foolish desire. It's a hope that feeds this funeral pile. Wanna bury it in my hand. Wander, oh wander, no reason to stay. Go yonder, your fears cast away. A home of breath and bone.
Oh my god, it is. Wizard with a gun. Multiplayer survival sandbox. Does it have a campaign mode? Does it have co-op? Because I actually tend to like good campaign survival co-op. It's also exceptionally rare. Use alchemy to modify your bullets. Yep, with it. Bastion style. Actually crafting outposts, because survival game. Again, with it. Switch and PC next year. Yeah, I'm adding that one to the list. That looks legit.
Premium purchase.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Don't Starve Together. And Wild 8, and I'm sure there's another one, but those are the only two that come to mind immediately. If Harry Potter was depressing. this... I don't know what to make of this. This looks like a take on Magica, actually. Or Nine Parchments, if you prefer. I haven't played Hades. Sorry. Yeah, I know. Shut up. I'm busy. Yeah, alright. I'll jot this one down too. Xbox and PC. And coming out in a little over a month.
Since 1975, Devolver Digital and the many incredible developers we've partnered with have produced what can only be appropriately described as an imperial buttload of incredible games that consumers worldwide have purchased, never actually played, and then made public claims about the game's quality in order to substantiate their place in online conversations about whether or not an indie game is still indie if it has a publisher. That's why we're proud to announce the entire Devolver Digital catalog on Steam is available at Devolver Max Pass Plus as a premium service, not included in your reoccurring monthly payments that we still haven't quite nailed down yet. Each of these gems will be available at a reduced rate for a bafflingly limited amount of time, with discounts ranging from, why not, to fuck me, why are my pants wet? Think of it as a kind of thank you from an old friend that believes you deserve a premium experience. Visit DevolverMaxPassPlus.com for more information.
Premium purchase.
I actually wrote down so I wouldn't forget the writing thing. Look at something real quick so I don't forget that. From the creator of Pony Highland and the Hex. They're absolutely spamming chat right now. Like, you want to see this real quick? Check this out. Look at chat. Look what chat's doing. God, I'm glad my chat's not like that. Anyway, sorry. Apparently this is the year of the bear. Oh no. Inscription. I have no idea what that is, honestly. I can't comment on that one. Should write that down at least.
Premium purchase.
Hey, kid! Do you love video games?
I'm a grown man. What are you doing in my bathroom?
Do you love video games?
Yes, I play them quite a bit.
Do you want to pay for video games?
Not at all, no.
What if you could play a game for free, but then later we charge you for cool stuff and make you watch ads for minimal benefit to you, the consumer?
Well, that doesn't sound...
That just sounds like a mobile game, then.
Pick up your phone, it's tumble time.
Ignore loved ones. Reprioritize your life. Let it consume your very...
This is probably a real game. What do you want to bet?
Turn real money into pretend money and spend it! Collect your favorite characters that you've never even heard of.
Tumble time, it's tumble time. Pick up your phone, it's tumble time. Tumble time, it's tumble time. Pick up your phone, it's tumble time.
Devolver Tumble Time is the future of physics-based puzzle gameplay, elegant monetization, and strategic brand integration. Choose characters from a loaded roster of your Devolver Digital.
What's with the hot dogs this year?
Big-time game points by maxing and clearing the impossibly adorable heads on the tumbler. We mentioned that it's free, right? Because it's free. Except for the ads part, where there are ads, because of course there are ads, because nothing is ever really free. Get hype and unleash each character's special move and clear chunks by creating...
Okay, I always appreciate a good gag like that. That's harder to do smoothly than it looks.
For Devolver Tumble Time on the App Store.
There's either someone below or someone behind.
TumbleTime.com.
And they're the ones producing the food.
Nina!
Yeah, exactly, Narcis. That is harder to do than it looks, even for such a relatively simple gag.
Oh, hey. Let's talk about subscriptions for a moment. The subscription service is an instrument of monetization from days gone, when your grandparents wanted to try a new cheese each month and your uncle wanted to look at photos of naked ladies from the comfort of his own tool shed.
Dude.
An unwieldy, physical beast that we have haphazardly let slip into the digital realm, leaving us with nothing but ones and zeros to stand in for our stinky dairy product and perfect knockers. Devolver, though, aims to return subscription-based addiction back to its more tangible roots with a premium purchase title available only in this. The physical plane of actual, real, for real existence.
Yeah, notice again, they're doing all this in one take here. So again, how many takes do you think this took?
Introducing Demon Throttle by developer Doinksoft, the creators of Gato Roboto. It is coming to the Nintendo Switch as a physical box set and...
Oh yeah, by the way, if you haven't played Gato Roboto, you totally should. It's a good game.
Friends at Special Reserve Games. Oh, you heard me right. Demon Throttle will not, I repeat, will not be available in any digital format and is only available for you to purchase as a retail product and put on your shelf and to never play or to sell at ridiculous scalper prices to anyone who missed out on its initial offering starting today. Check a look.
Fresh reminder that scalpers should be taken out back and shot. Because they should.
That demon just my way.
Oh no!
Or something.
By the way, if you're wondering, Gato Roboto is a game where you play a cat that has a mecha suit. It's a side-scroller platformer, and it is pretty good. So, bullet hell, shoot 'em up, co-op? Yeah, that sounds awesome. I'm gonna try to sell this to PAX.
Demon Throttle.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Huh? I mean... Huh?
We've looped.
I love it. It's good. Really good. Great work, Stilts.
Well, it wasn't all
Who'd
me.
have thunk? Big moves by a guy from... Where are you from?
Technically, I'm not supposed to be here.
That's great,
I'm
buddy.
filming-
Okay, now bring it home. Hit me with the big move. What's the punch?
There isn't one. He does not have...
Videotapes.
Nina!
Well, tape.
What she said.
What's this now?
Well, we put the entire thing on a tape and then sell it. Right? Like this, right? Right here.
If meetings were like this in real life,
The trick
Would be much less bad.
is that there is one, and only one, and we sell it to one buyer.
We put
only
the entire thing
just the one
on a tape.
Just the one?
Just the one.
Sell it.
Okay, and since there's only one and the buyer keeps it, and we broke the little tab on the inside so you can't copy it, it is non-fuckwithable.
Here.
A non-fuckwithable tape, right? NFT for short. It's It's gonna be.
I was just waiting for them to work an NFT there.
It's actually already been done. Okay,
By the way, NFT can also go to hell.
The one in this player right here is available online for the first Devolver Max Pass Plus Triple Platinum Elite Gold Star Magnum Double XL tier subscriber to go to devolvermaxpassplus.com and buy it. Okay, it is totally non-fuckwithable. It does no damage to the environment, to the energy grid, or the global technology supply chain, because it's just this old tape, right? That Caleb found in a box marked Nancy's Fancies, okay, in the back of an old filing cabinet in the birthing wing, and it's also a tape.
Fucking brilliant.
Yes, yeah. Zane, Nina, Margaret, Caleb. This is such wonderful.
What the fuck?
A savage view, another me.
And at the end.
Another.
And I need to mute this part. Hang on. There we go. Okay. It was all a dream. Back to the Future. Oh my god, that was legit. That was awesome. I'm hesitating for now. I'm not going to do my summary thing because there might be a post thing. So I'm actually surprised. Like I said, usually the Devolver Digital games are not interesting. Instead, it's just the conference that's interesting. But that's that's 4 games. No, I'm wrong. 3 games I'm interested in. A 4th I might be interested in out of 5. That's pretty good. So Ubisoft is clearly the best this year. Yeah, that's probably actually going to be the best conference. But we'll talk about writing in a moment, and then the games. And then the approach to comedy that they were using. The line of dialogue they just said was, "Everything is monetized. You lost the game the moment you subscribed." Meanwhile, their chat is still just absolute nonsense right now. Okay. Is there anything else? Wait a moment. There's Jeff. Yeah, no. You can go away, buddy. All right, we get to stare at Jeff's lovely face. There we go. Oh, it's a little bit too big. There we go. There we go. Perfect. I'm just gonna leave that back there. All right. Cynicism and experience act. All right, so let's talk about the games first. Phantom Abyss, first-person puzzle platformer with other people's wraiths showing up for their failed runs, and you get a frickin' whip. Yes. Okay. Next thing, Wizard with a Gun, survival multiplayer game. You modify the guns with alchemy and spells. Need to have... Of course it's sold out. It's an NFT act. That's the joke. The joke. Looks interesting if it has some kind of a campaign mode, which I'm going to have to look into more thoroughly later. And honestly, I probably wouldn't play it solo anyways, but if there's a co-op mode then and an actual campaign mode, then that's awesome. Immediately following that, we have Death's Door, which is apparently like Hades, even though I've never seen that, but looks fun-ish. Again, need more info on that one. Inscription is the only one that didn't catch me. That was just okay. It's a card game that's a horror game. Cool. And following that, we have Demon Throttle, which is a top-down bullet hell shoot-'em-up co-op on the Switch, which I'm probably going to buy. That's probably the one game of that list that I'm just straight up going to buy. Depending, of course, if PAX is going to be into it as well. Oh yeah, then there's the Samurai thing. I didn't even write that down. What was that called? There's a Samurai game. Samurai... grayscale... side-scroller. I didn't even write the name down. Yeah, it was Trek Diomi. That was it. Alright. So I'm sorry, that's actually out of 6. I forgot. So that's 3 out of 6, maybe 4 out of 6, which is still pretty legit. I am surprised by how many decent games are being shown there, but shrug. There's a style of comedy. Several people were saying South Park, but that's... I hate to disagree. That's not South Park's style of humor. Not either of South Park's style of humor. South Park's style of humor is to take the ridiculous... So they're either gross, let's just call that what it is, or they take the fantastical and the ridiculous and they play it completely straight, right? What I mean by that is, and the best example of this is, I can't remember his name, the dad, who will be completely in character about something that's so totally stupid. Probably the best example of this, sorry, losing my train of thought here. I should just get rid of this nonsense. It's really distracting seeing the chat just flying by there. Christ, there we go. Best example of this is when they were doing the Day After Tomorrow episode, which I know is an older one, but for those of you who don't remember it, they're like, oh my god, there's this horrible nightmare frost death wave coming. Run! Everybody run! And there's this really dramatic, powerful music. Don't, you know, like horror music. And it's like they're running and screaming and the camera's doing the shaky cam thing. And then periodically it'll pan back to what they're running from, which is nothing. That is South Park humor 101. This is something else. This is much closer to the Dilbert approach of humor, which is to sedate something with the mask removed, is how I tend to portray that. So what I mean by that is usually when someone tries to do something that's actually ridiculous or stupid or greedy or evil, what they tend to do is, this is more GTA than it is with regards to South Park. What they tend to do is they try to mask it, you know. They try to make it look like it's a good thing, like the Ubisoft Plus thing, where you get fresh access to all their stuff. You know, there's like a tone and a word choice that they use to try and mask the fact that you're paying for something nonsensical and stupid, right? What they did here, and again, this is very GTA, is they just removed the mask and just say it straight. And if you were paying attention, almost every single one of those things was them just saying straight up what actual other gaming companies are actually doing, just without the flowery language, without the attempt to deceive. Instead, just a straight up, yeah, this is how it is. And that's the humor. Because every single thing that they were showcasing there is something that other gaming companies are actually doing. Which brings me to my second point, writing. It is much harder to write that kind of thing than it sounds. Speaking as someone who's been doing a whole lot of writing lately as I've been scripting out the Lorecraft series, writing out those kind of lines of dialogue to sound like a jumble but not actually be, to not actually be nonsensical and to be a cohesive thread while still portraying something that is exactly as stupid as it is much harder to do than it sounds. And I have to give tremendous props to the way that that was scripted. That is insane, whoever wrote that, and that person or those people need a frickin' raise. That was impressive. And, I mean, that's ignoring all the other things they were doing right. Again, this is mostly my theater and television work speaking here, but I wonder how many takes several of those shots took. Because it's so easy for any of that to actually completely fall apart or stumble, or for you to skip a line, or for you to kind of stutter over the thing or whatever. Like, it's so easy to mess that up. Even the stuff that looks simple, like the hot dog coming out of the microwave that has a back door or whatever, right? And yeah, lots of really long shots, too. Yeah, someone drops a hot dog, or she spits, or you flub a line, you know? You'll notice if you're paying attention, while there were a lot of legit long shots, they also did a lot of cheating long shots, which is fine for reasons I've discussed before. For those of you not aware, a cheating long shot is where it looks like a long shot, but there's like a transition, like where the camera just kind of goes whoosh. And as it's doing this, you can't really tell if it's the same live shot, right? And so what they do is they do whoosh, and then they cut. And then when they start the next take, they start over here, and then they go whoosh, and then there's the next, and then they continue the next take, that kind of thing. Those still get credit. They're not as difficult or as much credit as a legitimate long shot, but even a fake long shot is still hard to do properly and still gets credit. So, and yeah, going in front of a pillar, or going behind a wall, or going up and down a floor, like going between things, that's a thing. Stuff like that. Anyway, sorry to get into the nitty-gritty and to geek out a little bit, but I just have to comment on the fact that that is, like, really hard to do. And awesome. So that was legitimately very funny. Credit where credit is due. As I already said, the games look cool. They certainly look more interesting than the Ubisoft games. And I had one last thing to comment on. Let me state something, and then I'm going to contradict myself, okay? Oh my god, isn't it ridiculous how companies which have, AAA companies which have more money than God, can't actually put out a decent game and put out this boring drivel wallpaper paste, whereas indie published stuff and indie developed stuff is putting out interesting, fun, and engaging new games? Isn't that ridiculous and weird and just off? So here's the contradiction. How do I phrase this? That makes perfect sense. And the reason why, there's actually two reasons why. The first is people are greedy. And that is the first reason why. There's nothing else attached to that. I could describe the specifics of the greed involved. I could discuss how much of that income goes to people who don't do anything to actually deserve or warrant that. I could discuss the cycle of investment and how the investment cycle is this incredibly incestuous thing that is actually causing long-term significant damage to the global economy. But let's just summarize by saying greed. The second reason is overhead. Overhead is one of those weird ones. How many indie games do I remember? A lot. I've referenced several today. Hello, Korgoth. Yeah, I've been working on the Lorecraft series, which you probably have never heard of because no one has. Overhead. All right, so we're going to make a game. Give me a genre. Someone give me a genre of game. It's okay, Von Falkenstein. We've only been streaming for 3 hours and I'm about to chop off. RTS. Sure, we'll do RTS. So we're going to make a real-time strategy game, okay? Cool. So let's assume for a moment that there's, let's say, 15 or so of us, and we've managed to scrape together a little bit of money for the initial setup. We've set our pitch, and there's a publisher who's picked us up, and we're going to be able to push it out, and life's cool. So let's say we have successfully done that. Cool. Now that we have done that, we can do our best to sit down and make the best game that we can to be an RTS. Now, if you're paying attention, I'm probably not phrasing this as clearly as I can, the priority, the focus, is on making the best game that we can. We want to make money off of this because we want to be solvent, we want to pay the bills. But our primary focus in doing this is the game. Now, let's assume we're Ubisoft. All right, so we're going to push out an RTS. All right, well, the first thing we can do, before we even get to the beginnings of game design, document, before we even get to the point of sitting down with pieces of paper and mapping out the kind of things we're going to do, we need to do cost feasibility studies. We need to do marketing studies. We need to sit down and spend way too much money on way too much people and thus way too much time, which also costs way too much money. This is what we call overhead, by the way, in order to try and determine how we can get the maximum possible amount of money out of this. And then we're going to budget it based on what we predict it's going to sell after all those studies we just did. And then we're going to allocate that money very carefully. After all, we need to make sure that that's going to make a return on its budget. Oh, that's another thing. Because we need to make sure that we make our return on investment on that, we need to go out of our way to try and flatten the thing. Now, I've talked about this before, so forgive me. This is still technically a theory, but at this point I'm 100% convinced of it. So if you were to count, like imagine a graph here, okay? The higher up it is, the better it is. And the wider it is, the more people are interested in it, okay? So a game that tends to be really good, there are exceptions to this, of course. Games that tend to be really good tend to be really up here, but you'll notice they're narrow, right? Because they're really focused on this one group of audience members. Only this group of people really likes this game, right? Niche is really what this boils down to. So you've really designed this for RTS fans, and so it's this. If you try to design it for everyone, then you have to push that down, so now it's stretched out this way. The game is overall worse because it's appealing to a broader audience. This applies to games, this applies to shows, this applies to movies, this applies to books, this applies to music, this applies to food. This is an exceptionally common thing. Now, Hazardous is saying, but there's exceptions to that. And you're right, Hazardous, there are exceptions. I'm still right, though. Because the overwhelming, ridiculous amount of other things prove me right on this one. And yes, Skyrim is a perfect example. Now, I'm not saying Skyrim is a bad game. But Skyrim was designed to be more broad audience, and it freaking shows. This is also why I use this as a thing. This is depth. This is pretty much literally depth, right? The more in-depth it is, the less it appeals to a broad audience. Excuse me. So, you, as your gigantic company of doom, are trying to make as much money as possible, which I've already emphasized that 3 times, but to make this very clear, your focus is on making money, not making game. Now again, you still want to make a game, just like the people who are focusing on making the game want to make money. But because your priority is focused differently, your approach is completely different. Thus, you flatten it out, you spread it out, and what you have is a result that is more shallow. Now, there are the occasional exceptions that seep through the cracks. A perfect example of this is the recent Marvel Spider-Man that came out on the PS4. Or, I'm trying to think of a non-Sony title, because I was going to mention God of War 4 as well. What's a good example? I can't think of another one right now. I'm sorry. There are other examples. Every now and again, something slips through the crack, which is just awesome. But for the most part, AAA games, when they push out something, tend to be this and not this, simply by the nature of the system. Even if they somehow magically didn't have greed involved, they would still have math involved. And by simple math, they have more overhead, which means they need to make more money, and they are more focused on making money, which means they're going to make the product worse. And that's, again, that's just math. Should it be that way? No, I think we should completely destroy and remake the entire economic system of our planet, but that's a little complicated. Yes, I do have a plan for doing that. No, I'm not going to tell you about it. No, I'm not joking. So yes, I tend to be, nowadays, having a discussion with Third recently, nowadays I tend to be more interested, more invested, and more fascinated by indie games because of math. Even assuming that greed is not involved, which it totally is. It's actually funny. Some of you may be aware of a individual named, I can't remember their new name. They used to be called Jim Sterling. I don't remember what they're calling themselves now. I'm sorry, I don't remember because I stopped watching them. Not for any reason. I just, But one of the things that they said back in the day was that they kept interviewing people, and those Stephanie, thank you, Stephanie Sterling. It's okay, so it's James Stephanie Sterling. They were interviewing people in the industry, and several of those people said paraphrased, we don't want to make money on this product. We want to make all of the money. Now, that was something that was said years ago. This is also something I myself have talked about before. And this is, again, going back to that priority thing, the idea of, the primary priority is to make money. And when you're trying to make money, most of these large-scale companies are trying to make all of the money. They all want the next big hit, right? They want the next Call of Duty 6, Modern Warfare 2, or then want the next Grand Theft Auto 5, or they want the next, what's something else that was stupid successful financially? They want the next Fortnite, right? They want something that is just going to shove money down their throats until they drown in it. And if I might be so bold, that's stupid. Actually planning for and designing to make something that is going to be a smash hit doesn't work that way and never has. Everything out there that has been a big smash success has been so by various circumstances, none of which were planned for. Nobody planned for WoW to be the big thing. Nobody planned for Fortnite to be the big thing. Nobody planned for Command & Conquer to explode. Nobody planned for Civilization to explode. Nobody thought Super Mario Bros. Was going to renovate video gaming. It doesn't work that way. It never has. And again, this doesn't just apply to gaming, but also to movies, to music, to books, to theater plays. You think they made Cats to be this massive smash success? The play, not the movie. And this is why this mentality is stupid even from a purely business-like, economic-based perspective. Because you cannot plan to be the next big hit. It doesn't work that way. Can you plan for word of mouth? That's dependent. But that being said, a lot of the larger companies have the advantage of being larger companies. What I mean by that is if Ubisoft tomorrow tweeted something, let me imagine the Ubisoft conference didn't happen at all. Okay, just now imagine that Ubisoft tweeted out a random thing or showed a random video, which is like just a tease with an outline of Mario. Okay, that's it, like a 3-second video or just an image. I guarantee with total certainty that will spread like wildfire because it's Ubisoft and lots of people pay attention to them because they're a big name. And that is word of mouth in action right there. That spread and the people doing videos about it, the people discussing it, and doing streams about it. I mean, can you imagine doing a stream about an E3 presentation? That is word of mouth, and you absolutely can plan for that, especially when you're already a big name. They don't do that because they're stupid, and they waste tons of money on marketing gimmicks and stunts that cost way too much for way too little return on investment. Now, don't mistake me, marketing is important and something you absolutely should allocate for, but you should allocate properly. You don't just dump money on something blindly and stupidly, which is what they do. Sorry for getting a little bit irritable sounding, but to be completely blunt, this has been pissing me off for decades. And yes, I can add decades to that one because this goes back to the 90s. I do remember the ping tweet from Cyberpunk. And yeah, Elon Musk and the Dogecoin is actually a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Elon Musk can tweet basically anything and then... Now, Javan is correct. You're probably thinking, Mike D'Amato says, why don't they learn from that? Because the marketing people want to keep their jobs. I am dead serious. It's the same reason movie trailers are garbage and have been for a long time. I can't quite say decades on that one, but it's been a while. It's because if there's a group of people or an industry of people who really want to keep their jobs, and they need to justify that budget, they need to justify their salary, because remember, they need to make all the money. What was the last movie trailer that really impressed me? Oh, wow. Let me think about that. I guess it's actually not that far back, but I would probably go with Infinity War. I like the MCU's approach to trailers in general. Not that they're not generic, I mean, they're very formulaic, actually. But I like the fact that they actually bother to go out of their way to record new footage and to not spoil jack, visually or story-wise, in their trailers. So I would give it to Infinity War. The MCU has pretty good trailers in general, always has, actually. And by always, I mean from Iron Man 2 on. Anyways, this has turned into a rant. I apologize. Pick something that isn't MCU? Ooh, okay, give me a second. That's much harder. Is Pixar cheating? Or Disney, I guess it's the same thing. Because, Pixar and Disney both, they've actually both started doing this. I'll have another approach, which I get why some people don't like it, but I do still like it. What they do is they pick a scene from the movie that's kind of endemic to the overall point. You know, it gets across the premise of the movie, and it's a good scene, and then that's the trailer, is the scene, right? You know, Zootopia with the sloths, or Inside Out with the scene at the dinner table. That's actually, in my opinion, that's a decent way to do a trailer. Just, and there you go. Do I think the games industry will crash and burn at some point? Nope. Not at this point. As I've said for years, you know what's funny, Mr. Ed, is I've been getting that question since as long as I've been doing YouTubing and streaming. No joke. That's how long people have been asking me if I think the games industry will crash and burn, and my answer has always been no. It's not like that anymore. This is no longer the 70s. It simply doesn't work that way anymore. In fact, to be completely honest, calling it an industry is arguably inaccurate, since it's more like industries at this point. Yeah, Trathan is quite correct. Banks literally have a better chance of failing, not counting countries where that's more common, than the gaming industry umbrella. And that being said, it wouldn't surprise me to see another particular company crash and burn, because that's been happening semi-frequently. That's actually a semi-regular thing. Anyone remember THQ Nordic, or just THQ, I guess, in general? I know that's actually it's been a bit since THQ died, but you remember, because THQ was pretty big, and yeah, Telltale is a more recent example of a company that's. I know, it's ridiculous, Star Wars. Anyways, like, I apologize for going off on economics and industries and all sorts of stuff. Ugh. Westwood. Ooh. Do I think the industry will get better? I think it already has. I know that sounds awful to say that, because the amount of naked, I hate to use this word, evil, predatory practices that are utilized by the entertainment industry in order to rip as much money as possible out of people as they can is disgusting and horrible. But you'll notice that's kind of over there. I know that sounds like a strange way to phrase that, but that, the whaling industry, as I myself have termed it, has started to kind of shuffle over here into its own corner, while the rest of the gaming industry is still doing its own thing. I mean, we have indie games and AA games, and even the occasional AAA games that are still coming out that are still awesome. Even EA can push out a Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, right? Frankly, I think this is about as good as we're getting with regards to the gaming industry. I think we have successfully managed to move our way out of the point where the muck is not everywhere, and it's over there now. There's still the muck. We're not getting rid of the muck. until I conquer the world. But until I conquer the world, we're not getting rid of the muck, right? But it is far more obvious, far more in the corner, and there's far more other nowadays. Oh, I agree. Jedi Fallen Order basically didn't have a New Game Plus. Do I think we'll ever get rid of crunch? I think we're in the process of moving towards that. Now, to be clear, first of all, real quick, thank you, Korgoth, very, very much. Always appreciate so much. Thank you. Crunch, let's be very, very clear. Crunch has been around for, well, millennia, actually. But let's talk about the stuff we know with more cohesive succession, right? Let's talk about being forced to work extra long hours because a common practice by some of the factory owners would be to adjust their clocks they have in the factory room so they run a little bit slow, so you'd work like an extra half hour or two every day. Right? Like that happened. That's historical fact. And that's within the last century. My point is crunch has been a thing for a while. I do think that we are reaching a point. Maybe this is just the optimist in me. Oh, yeah, it's about only half an hour of Unfalkenstein. Every day. 7 days a week. Maybe this is the optimist in me, but I do believe that we are reaching a point where we are starting to slide out of that. We're starting to get more worker protection. We're starting to get more acknowledgement and awareness of the mentality. We're starting to push away from that. I can only speak for the United States. That's where I live. But in the United States, for the longest time while I was growing up, there was a very strong attitude of man up when it came to working. I bet several of you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm describing it badly, but it's that mentality, that attitude, that cultural bias towards just what are you doing? Why aren't you working? Well, I'm sick. I have a cold. Well, get in here. All you have is a cold. Or work days? Or sick days? Or vacation days? And so forth and so on and yada, yada. You know what I'm talking about. It's that prevalent attitude that, I can only speak for the country I'm in, Javan. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Mental health, physical health, screw you. Go destroy yourself so that the rest of your life is spent in misery and agony, constantly having to pay for medications you can barely afford in order to survive. I should know, I have quite a few family members who are approaching their 80s and 90s at this point, who are in constant pain because of how they worked back in the day. Anyways, sorry. Point being, I think that nowadays, and I've noticed this, that we're starting to get to the point where we're noticing that that attitude is bullcrap. And we're starting to get to the point of actually being like, well, hang on. Wait, maybe we should actually take care of ourselves. And to be blunt, I think we're still in the very beginnings of that. I think we're just starting to go up the hill. You know what I mean? But I would like to think that by the time my niece is entering the work market, that she will be at a point where she can have a job that doesn't cause her lifelong physical and or mental pain. Maybe she'll be a streamer. Oh. I think Rax is still here. I think he's our only mod right now, but Eclectic, if you ask Rax, he can probably toss you an invite. I am, at the end of the day, an optimist. I am. I am not a pessimist. I am cynical, but that's a different axis. I am a cynical optimist. And I do think, maybe I'm just too much of a historian, but I do think human society has gotten better over the last 2,000 years. You know? I mean that. I do really think that we have gotten better as a species and as a people with regards to a whole lot of everything. With it, and all down to the little stuff, right? My opinion. An idealist, Mike Romano. Cynical, idealistic, and then optimist and pessimist. Do I see the whaling industry getting worse? So I think individual whaling attempts, like companies, are going to start crashing and burning. And I think that because it's already started happening. Don't ask me to name an example. I don't got one right now off the top of my head. But plenty of companies have started pushing really hard into the whaling industry, especially in the mobile market and the live service market, and have not been getting the returns they expected. And those hits are starting to hurt. You can only fake money so long. So I'm thinking that there's going to be a few more companies that are going to have a few more bombs. That's going to have a few more issues. But do I think the whaling industry as a concept is going away? No. No. I mean, you're right, Javan. If you ever... oh, I'm sorry, Korgoth. I didn't even think it was. There's a reason why I constantly make arguments from an economic perspective, not a moralistic or real-life perspective. Do I find it difficult as a full-time streamer to have meaningful real-life relationships? I mean, I'm single, if that's what you mean, and probably will be single for the rest of my life. By the way, you didn't tell me which one to put that towards, Korgoth. But no is the answer to your question. I mean, there's a reason I go and hang out with my sister and my niece and friends pretty much every Tuesday. Urquan Masters. You got it. Masters. I mean, you can ask Rax, right? Like, I hate Rax's guts. Every time I see him, it's just, oh my god, I have to deal with that awesome Rax again. He makes me look so crap by comparison. But, you know, I think I'm managing, despite everything, despite my work schedule. Yeah, I pull vines. You know what my sister does, despite everything? She actually goes out of her way to go out just to hang out with me, just to spend time in my presence. Hi, Saldir, in order to, you know, hang out with her brother. Michael Vania. Thank you, Michael Vania, very much. As always. Legend of Ligaya. You got it. And I got Urquan Masters for you, Korgoth. This has turned into, this is like an hour video for like a 20-minute conference. I apologize, anybody here. I'm still recording for some strange reason. Point being, that's true. Rax makes everyone look crap by comparison. When I take over the world, I'm going to have to actually kill Rax just because he is going to lead the resistance if I don't. And I know what you're thinking. Wait, so Rax is going to be against you? No, Rax will be on my side. They will use him as a figurehead to rally their cause around, even though he's actually going to be on my side. It's just, it's ridiculous. Can you kill him now? No, Rax, he's too awesome to kill. You can't do that. All right. For those of you who are not aware, who do not go to lorerunner.com, did you know that there's this website called lorerunner.com? I have already put up all of the other E3 conferences we will be covering there, which include the Microsoft conference tomorrow and the Square Enix conference tomorrow, as well as the Capcom conference Monday, the Nintendo conference Tuesday, and then whenever they actually schedule it, we'll do the EA conference in a month. And that's it. Conference I'm most looking forward to. Honestly, EA, because that's going to be hysterical. Are we doing a lore week? I've kind of run through all my topics for lore week. But I kind of have to. Like, I have to do a lore week, right? Hang on. I'll just come up. I'll make up news. That's what you're supposed to do, right? The Nintendo Switch is going to have a Pro thing. Oh my god, it's going to have the Nintendo Switch Mega Pro. Ooh. Oh yeah, and don't subscribe. In all sincerity, I really don't have much news for lore week tomorrow. Like, there's the Quantic Dreams legal battle, which is going to be, we're going to verdict July 8th. Battlefield 2042, which has no campaign. And Elden Ring had a trailer. Elden Ring's an actual game. Can you believe it? That's it. But it's okay. I was always planning to have a short lore week tomorrow, so we can get immediately to the Streaminations, so we can immediately be ready for the Microsoft conference, which is at 1, which is usually when we're starting the Streaminations. So I'm gonna shove the lore week forward so we can do that, so we can be ready there. I see. I don't want to talk about the hacking thing because I've been noticing that that's getting to be more and more of a trend, and that certain how do I phrase this? Certain enforcement agencies are not doing their goddamn jobs. Now, this is doubly irritating to me because I have actually studied digital law enforcement, and if they actually bothered, they have a stupid amount of good tools in order to be able to track people and hunt down people who do things like the EA hack, and they are apparently not doing it, and I'm not sure why. I mean, God's sakes, one of the things I would probably do is go ahead and be like, all right, oh yeah, sure, no, you've hacked us, no, here's the money. While I'm on the phone with the company, I'm not, you know, the security organizations and the enforcement agencies, hey, yeah, no, here's the money on this account at this line, and then have them freaking track down who's actually receiving the money and spending the money, and then throw them in prison for the rest of their lives. Or just take them out back and shoot them, which would probably be a lot cheaper. I mean, God's sakes. Do I have to do your job for you? That's a stupid question. Of course I have to do people's jobs for them. Someone asked a question. Where is it? Where is it? There's Mr. Treeman. There it is. I saw a question there. I'm blind, apparently. Is there a description of what Lore Week is? So Lore Week is just the catch-all. It's just every... Like, this isn't an evil. This is a nice coat. This is a London fog. The FBI did do that recently. I actually noticed that. It's the first time in a while. The Lore Week thing is it really is the catch-all. But the whole point of the Lore Week is that's the thing everyone watches. Like percentage-wise, you know, in the Venn diagram of viewers, the most viewers watch Lore Week, and so that's when I do show news. You know, for the show here, I talk about any gaming news or entertainment news, like I've been talking about for the last half hour, and anything that needs to be discussed. It's a catch-all. It's a weekly talk show. Yeah, it's exactly that. You don't like my tie either? I like this tie. It's actually the second of this tie I bought just because I like this tie that much. That's all Lore Week is. It's nothing fancy. Immediately after that, we do the Streaminations, which, of course, is us. It's the new format we cover shows in. Right now, we're still going through MLP, but eventually that will be any show we cover will be in the Streaminations format. And then immediately after that, I usually go and work on other stuff, like the Lorecraft right now. Anyways. But it's time. I'm at the point where I'm basically rambling at this point, so I'm going to go and chop off the local recording.